His professional record is 7-2, 2 KOs to his credit. Let's hear it for Verno Phillips.
Let himself get off. Couldn't take charge.
Boy, he was firmly planted for that left hook.
Nailed him with a good solid left hook. But if you noticed, he was called on.
Edwin Virouette, the trainer. Mike Jones in the background. Manager Jim Fennell, co-manager of Glenwood Brown. Cards have been collected.
Obey my commands at all times. Touch, touch. Let's go.
So there's a look at Clarence White. He is undefeated. We saw him here on ESPN when we were in Indianapolis just before the 500. In the other corner, Verno Phillips out of Troy, New York. White undefeated in 11 fights. Phillips 7-2. White has 8 knockouts and Phillips 2.
So we've got the nice contrast matching up with White being the bomber, Phillips being the craftsman, and both fighters being successful coming in here.
Good quick right hand by Phillips to start things off.
And he sneaked the jab in there nicely too as White was looking to land the right hand counter.
I think that might be my train, Dave. I gotta go.
Leave the rest to me, Barry. Yeah, that's one thing about the outdoor ambiance.
That's right. It's really kind of a nice setting here, actually.
It cooled down a little bit from earlier in the day, so it's quite comfortable.
In fact, these guys ought to consider themselves lucky because you live here, you would know this, but really did have a heat wave and very high humidity the last couple of weeks.
It was really terrible for the last couple of weeks, and a nice break. I think the humidity was under 50% for the first time in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, actually quite pleasant today. And temperatures tonight, I would say, without playing weatherman, I'd say in the low 70s maybe.
Now we're seeing a little bit more pressure from White. He's just starting to get inside the jab by Phillips and turning around.
The left hand by Phillips takes a counter right, though.
Both fighters showing a pretty good degree of ability for the limited experience. 11 fights for White, 9 for Phillips. You see some 11-0 fighters, and they haven't learned a thing.
It's a good opportunity for both these fighters to take that next step.
Yeah, the scheduling kind of goes in stages, confidence builders, and then you do have to come up against some pretty good opposition on the way up also to move up.
Coming down to the end of the first round. Well fought first round, actually, by these two. And White opens up with a left and a right behind it. Evenly matched round. Very tough round to score. Inside of 10 seconds now left in round number 1. This is scheduled for 6, and we'll be back with more from Atlantic City after this.
Watch the momentum of White. He'll miss with the left hand, but it puts him in the perfect path for the right, which he does get in. And the important thing is that White kept his balance after missing.
How'd you score that first round, just out of curiosity?
Gave it to White very close. It's a good debatable round.
There was a quick right hand, and it put White on the deck.
3, 4, 5, 6.
Flash knockdown, but definitely a knockdown.
Phillips hasn't come out punching tonight like somebody with 2 knockouts in 9 fights.
Really has found a home for that right hand. White, I think, was more stunned and hurt. Another right hand by Phillips.
But White probably been hit already more in this fight than in most of his other ones. And that'll make you think a little bit because he put out the jab and left it out there, and then Phillips came right behind it. He paid a heavy price.
Both got a big uppercut, and finally it's White to the body. The second round scheduled for 6. Extremely close fight early on. Flash knockdown by Phillips to start this second round.
That's really going to make it difficult on White to win this fight because this is a short fight, 6 rounds. And to be knocked down early, it's like losing 2 rounds right away. Not much time to make it up.
Yeah, and he doesn't appear to be doing that. And what you're saying, of course, is that would make this a 10-8 round. And
probably will go down that way.
Very tough to play catch-up from that in a short fight.
And if he lost that close first round, he's got a tremendous hole to dig out.
Uppercut by Phillips. Phillips doing a nice job.
Landing them from long distance, which is a little bit surprising. It takes a little more time to land them from out there, and yet they're getting in. And he's showing good defense, too.
Yeah, he's not getting hit, and he's hitting. And I guess that's really the name of the game, isn't it?
Hit and not get hit, or hurt and not get hurt, really.
And that's been the story, too. Inside of 20 seconds left, round 2. And don't you know, in White's corner, they're going to tell him to keep the pace up. He's going to have to get busy, and he's going to have to get busy in a hurry. White missing a lot. We'll take you into the corner of Clarence White. Let's eavesdrop and see what they do say to him. Anybody read lips?
How we doing, lad? All right?
Saying very much. Big moment in the fight here for White as he puts that right hand through. The lazy left hand by Phillips. Phillips lands the right hand. The lazy left hand by White left himself open. Such a timing game.
Well, this is round 3, scheduled for 6 rounds. This is round 3.
Round number 3 now, and Clarence White's going to have to get it together pretty quickly.
And only 15 of 106 jabs landed over the first 2 rounds. A 14% accuracy on his rangefinder.
Not good enough.
That will lose you a lot of fights.
Here's the total numbers through the first 2 rounds, and Phillips not being nearly as busy, interestingly enough, but scoring a lot more. And he's got the knockdown.
Excellent ability to turn there by Phillips. And right now, he's showing that he's got a lot more of a quickness advantage on White. He's instinctive. He's timing everything right. He has found a groove and he's locked in here.
It's really interesting. He does not look like a fighter who is 7-2.
Doesn't look like somebody with only 2 knockouts in 9 fights.
Very true. Let's take a look at your card, Dave, after the first 2.
And that's Phillips getting a 10-8 round there in the second, after I gave him a very close first round.
Phillips still dictating the fight, but by your card, you still obviously give White a very good chance here.
Well, I gave White the first round and a big second for Phillips. If I was the corner of White, I would have told him between the second round, look, you've lost them both. Fight like you've lost them both. You need every one of the last ones here. But he's found some real technical problems in the ring that haven't come up in his previous fights. Primarily the quickness of Phillips.
A minute and 15 seconds left, round number 3.
And White, I'm sure, is not used to being dictated to as he's been here. And Phillips on the lead.
White with a big right hand. His best punch of the fight, perhaps. Since the knockdown, White showing a healthy respect for Phillips. Again, a left hand by Phillips. And another left hand by Phillips, and that hurt White.
Well, White could get lucky in this kind of exchange. He could also go out, but it's his type of volley.
Good left hand by Phillips again. Interestingly enough, White is showing a lot more respect for Phillips than Phillips is for White. Coming down to the end of the third round, and we'll be back. Round number 4, Verno Phillips. He's in the red trunks. Clarence White out of Indianapolis in the black trunks. Phillips had White down in a flash knockdown to start the second round. Other than that, a pretty close fight, but Phillips still seems to be dictating the tempo of the fight.
He's really picked it up and is showing that he's been superior to White in the last couple rounds, and especially at the end of the third round, he landed a left hook against White, who was in the middle of an exchange. White has to ask himself why he's getting hit so much.
And Phillips, again, a very high percentage as you look at our punch profile numbers from the third round.
White was only 8 of 58 with his jab there. Again, 14%. You can't set up many power punches with that type of deficiency. A lot of that has been Phillips' defense, though. Keeping his gloves close. He's been quick, elusive, smothering the shots.
Left hand a moment ago by Phillips. Got this. Phillips is just fighting a very heady fight here. Good uppercut there by White.
What he has to be careful of is that he doesn't try to get too aggressive.
Big right hand and hurt Phillips. And now it's White to the attack, and he wants to get him out of there right now. Phillips is hurt. And another uppercut.
It's exactly the downfall against the slugger.
Phillips still in big trouble here. White now will try to get him out of there. Phillips came up with a left hand, but he's taking more than he's giving now.
Boy, Rock'em Sock'em Robots prevailed.
Outstanding fight here. Phillips still on his bicycle trying to get the cobwebs out.
White has to get to the body if he wants to succeed here.
Phillips still not very steady.
Well, he's close to letting Phillips off.
He's got another minute in this fourth round. White now just looks like he's trying to load up.
And that's the mistake of not having the schooling.
Another right hand. That forces Phillips to take a step back. Now he goes to the body.
He needs some of those body shots to take away Phillips' legs.
That one was a little low.
And they even saw that from the top row.
Yes. And there's a left hook by Phillips, and it backs White into the ropes. Now White is hurt. How do you like this action? Another left hand. What a round this has been. White has really found a home for that uppercut. Coming to the end of the fourth round, and both men had their moments in this round.
I just started telling you.
I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. Now we're going. Okay? Came back nice. Came back nice. You feel Vern?
All right.
You feel all right, Vern? All right. Come in. Some more? Huh? All right.
White having a big moment here, finally connects with the right hand. And then he chops with a couple more. And this is finally when he gets Phillips into some difficulty. Phillips was going to come back, though. That left hook has been a staple all fight long. Watch the right hand by White. It's just hanging out there to dry, and Phillips can't miss. Then he scores with the uppercut, again with the left hook. the right hand by White is not doing anything for him defensively.
For 6 rounds.
You heard Phillips' corner tell him, you got careless, you got inside on him, and you got hit. Now, don't do that again. When he's at long range, he does a good job, and the left hook is right there for him.
Very interesting statistic. Both fighters have landed 84 punches through the 4 rounds. But it's been 44% for Phillips and 22% for White in terms of accuracy.
But in the last round, as we look at our punch profile, White, again, very busy and a little more effective. But again, you look at the percentage numbers, and Phillips is just the more effective of the two.
But the judges, with that kind of disparity, will not judge on percentage. They'll probably go on total blows.
In which case, the fight would be about as even as it appears to be.
84-84.
Let's take a look at your card, Dave.
Now, I've got a 1-point edge for Phillips here. The big second round, a difference to him. Now, he's won his rounds much more impressively than White has won his. So this really could be an interpretive gesture on the judges' part.
Very difficult fight to judge.
That's why I'm glad you're sharing the hot seat with me tonight.
That's right. No criticism here of the judges, whatever way it goes, because you can make a case either way.
As you look at the 4 rounds, Phillips has done more over the sustained period of time, more things well. White has had his answer with the power, and that's what keeps him in there. 8 knockouts in 11 fights. And as I look at Phillips, the reason he probably only has 2 knockouts in 9 fights, he doesn't want to take a lot of chances. He did in that 4th round and got clocked. He retreated and went back to his boxing style.
This fight's scheduled for 6 rounds. You have an idea it could come down to the final 3 minutes. Left hook is just a little bit short.
And there's Phillips as quick as he did it on the run. Phillips able to square up and throw shots from either side like he's not a right-hander or a left-hander. Takes away the power, but it helps the accuracy.
For the end of round number 5, a round in which both fighters seem to be conserving a little bit for the 6th and final round. Good left hook again for Phillips.
If the judges had any doubt about that round, that shot will help them make up their minds.
And it came in the final 3 seconds of the round. In Phillips' corner between rounds, he said, do it for your kids. And as you see on his trunks, it says, God bless my sons. And I assume those are his son's name on the back of his trunks. Ooh, a left hand by Phillips again.
As he switched styles. Came quickly from the southpaw stance. Very effective for him.
Look at the numbers through the first 5 rounds. Can't be any closer than that. And as you mentioned, the number that the judges are looking at predominantly is the punches landed, not so much the percentage.
They sometimes will take percentage into account in the sense of one fighter is making another one look bad, missing. They'll consider that ring generalship, and they'll make that a category for scoring, and they'll reward it.
And your card has Phillips clearly in the lead now, and unless he should get knocked down, he would win the fight. Now we'll see if the judges see it that way here at Bally's.
And not only do the judges have the 102 to 101 to look at, but the severity of the blows to be considered too. And Phillips has looked like he's landed a lot more flush shots, especially with that left hook to the head. Against a lot of other fighters, what Clarence White accomplished in the 4th round would have been good enough for a knockout leading up to here. He's elevated his caliber of competition, and he did not get the knockout in round 4.
And conversely, Phillips did absolutely the right thing. He stayed away, he got on his bike, he cleared his head. He didn't try to fight with White. But he did come back a little bit even in that 4th round.
Phillips is showing White so many different angles. He'll be straight in front of him, then he'll come running in with a 2-punch combination. He'll switch to his southpaw style. All of which is keeping White from settling into a groove. And White has been a little bit too patient in the last couple of rounds.
Yeah, he isn't fighting this final round like a guy who
Needs it.
has any doubt at all about the outcome. Phillips, and it's been there for him the entire fight. Coming to the end of this one, and Phillips ends it with another left hook. And there it is. So Verno Phillips and Clarence White in a most entertaining 6-round fight. And if you ask the people at this table, Verno Phillips might have won it. But we'll have the official decision after this. Well, Dave, if there was any doubt, the numbers from our punch profile folk in the 6th round pretty much tell the story.
The classic argument about effective aggression. Phillips 18 for 38, 47%. White threw 87 punches, 7 got in. That's an 8% in the last round. That'll get you sent back to AAA real quick.
And you saw the punch profile total number of punches, and they too would substantiate a victory for Phillips. But that is just theory, and now let's get to the real thing.
Ladies and gentlemen, here's the official scoring. John Riley scores the bout 59-54. John Stewart has it 59-55, and Al DeVito scores it 57-56 for the winner. By unanimous decision, Verno Phillips.
So Verno Phillips, as we surmised, is the winner of this one, and he does so in relatively easy fashion. Good win for Verno Phillips.